Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your second of 3 group stage matches cast by myself, LD, on Beyond the Summit. Of course, more importantly, this event is Dreamhack Winter 2012. It has been a really exciting event so far in the group stages. I was fortunate enough to cast the summer event, and I gotta say, it's mostly been the kind of the same story. I of course am following sort of the second, generally the group stage teams, generally the teams predicted to finish, or not the group stage teams, the qualifier teams, the teams expected not really to advance. But there have been some interesting games, and even when you see the teams that are predicted to win actually going through, the way that they go about that win, how smoothly it happens, sort of the ups and downs, the picks as well, you do learn quite a bit about the competition. And in some cases, we have had some, well, shocking, at least moments inside of these games. But right now, we're in a situation where Fnatic.EU actually is in great position. If they win this game, I believe they don't necessarily clinch the group, but they're in pretty strong position to do so. They'll be 2-0 at that point. And actually, it is escaping me who else they still have to play. I believe it's Dignitas. Fnatic has to play Dignitas next round. Dignitas also won their first game, so they took care of business against SkyHigh. Pulse is the team, Wagamama squad, that they're in a bit of trouble. They already lost to one of the projected top 3 teams in this group, that, of course, being Fnatic. So now they really have to beat Dignitas. That is a must-win game for them. This game, for Fnatic, it's an important win. It's not a must-win. Even if they lose it, they can win the next game, and with that, they will be able to move forward. So, interesting little situation we have in the group stage. Always fun to see how these round-robin formats develop. But with all that being said, the draft is well underway. Fnatic.EU, the way that they won their game, if you missed it, seemed like mostly on the back of a very, very farm Trixie. If I recall correctly, something like 9-1-10. Really had a lot of time to get the big items up, and Wagamama playing a carry Mirana. Mirana just not the best hard carry. You have to be far ahead. If you're equal or behind on items, you're not going to win late games. So Fnatic, generally a team that they really favor team fight lineups. That was a bit curious to see from them, because generally it's heroes like Lina, Sand King, Magnus, all these big team fight specialists, lots of stuns. Even when they go for carries, it's things like the Chaos Knight, the Naga Siren. That's sort of been their bread and butter, is going for those more team fight oriented, stun heavy type compositions. A little bit tricky against Undying though, because with the Tombstone there, if you're relying on nukes, on magical damage, having the Tombstone, having decay spam to be tanky, to be resilient in team fights, that can make life a little bit trickier. But they will go ahead and pick up the Enigma. I believe this one probably going to be handled by Fly. He is one of their 2 support players. Actually should be able to double check that, but well, I know he's one of the support players. I'm not sure if he handles the Enigma for these guys, though. They haven't picked it, at least not recently in the Dota Academy matches. But anyway, I am interested to see how they're going to land this one. I think they have run the offlane Enigma occasionally, although not in recent memory. I know they ran it solo mid way back in, was it even the Premier League Season 2? Or something like that, but it's been a while since that. Of course, with the Magneturgic here, Enigma, they have an amazing team fight composition. SkyHigh, in the early to mid game, they're going to be potentially pretty strong, but as this game goes on, a lot of these heroes start to scale off. And of course, Fnatic, they've got the 2 big ults that go through BKBs, so even if SkyHigh go for a hard carry, they're not necessarily going to be able to rely on it. Now, one thing we've seen from SkyHigh is some pretty strong laning phases. In their first game against Dignitas, they actually jumped out to a lead. So if you guys didn't watch that game, but you're curious to see how this sort of up-and-coming unknown team is doing, it's Matrim, Pepe +3. I was calling them Matrim +4, but apparently this is Pepe, who, if I recall correctly, used to play for MTW. So he's obviously a veteran. He's been around for a while. Matrim, you may have seen him before on teams such as Quantix. So SkyHigh, they are sort of an unknown team name, but they do have some known players. Now, as far as this draft goes, a lot is going to rest on the Rubik. If he can steal Black Hole, if he can steal Reverse Polarity, even Ice Path, it will give them a level of team fight to match what Fnatic have. But otherwise, they aren't going to have it. And it's very difficult to really get aggressive against Fnatic's lineup because they have Magnus and Jakiro. These are 2 very powerful defensive heroes, whether you're skewering away to safety or Ice Pathing Tower Divers. Even with Undying, such a strong dual tri-lane offensive jungle type of hero, I'm not sure how much this will work. The Enigma is there. He'll be a bit weaker in the jungle, so that's an option for SkyHigh. They have heroes to run an aggressive duel or tri-lane in that suicide lane and try to punish the Enigma's farm, try to limit it. Actually banning out the Faceless Void, so Trixie getting a lot of respect here. The Void, the Anti-Mage all banned out. I think we're going to see Hani play the Magnus. Not 100% sure, but he generally plays those big initiators. We've seen him play Sand King a lot in the past before Magnus was actually ported over. And, well, I mean, I guess it depends on where they want to lane it. It is an offlaner, to be sure, but with the Enigma, well, we'll see. They do have the option to run him solo mid and pick up another offlane, but most likely an offlane Enigma, offlane Magnus, maybe Enigma in the jungle, and then Jakiro +1 in the safe lane, and then your solo mid still to be determined. They're focusing a lot on Trixie's heroes, the anti-mage, the void, the hard carries. Most of the strengthy tank initiators I've been banned out as well. CK and Sven. SkyHigh don't really have a frontline damage dealer. They've got Undying, they've got Tide, they've got a lot of team fight. But who goes in first for this squad? Who's going to jump into the middle of the fight? And who wants to? When you have to worry about Skewer, Reverse Polarity, Malefice, Black Hole, Ice Path. It is a lot of reliable lockdown, and that's the key word, reliable. It's very hard to mess these spells up. I know for Fly, he has enjoyed playing heroes like Lina. Some of those, I guess we'll probably see him on the Jakiro this game, because he normally plays the hard support for these guys. He actually used to play a carry role for them back in Heroes of No Earth, but he has made the transition a while since then. Era and Trixie have been getting most of the farming roles for this team. I know Era has played Shadow Fiend in the past. If it's a solo mid Magnus, probably it would be, I think it would be Era playing it. Honestly, I don't know this team that well. I haven't seen them play recently. I'm just sort of throwing darts around here, guys. It's pretty obvious, I guess. But I used to follow the European scene very closely. I've watched some of the teams, but Fnatic as a team, I just haven't had a chance to catch many of their games. We'll see how the lanes develop. On the side of SkyHigh, they don't have much damage. That's really the one concern for me. They don't have the team fight superiority. They don't have damage. It really comes down to the laning stage, and they're putting a lot of eggs into that basket considering they're up against heroes that can punish aggressive lanes. Jakiro can punish it. Enigma, if you don't gank him in the jungle early, can punish it by that 5-6 minute mark with the gank with Black Hole. And even more aggression. They're going to go for a Night Stalker. Oh boy, this is quite a death ball that's forming. Night Stalker, a great frontline initiator. So it looks like a solo mid Night Stalker, offlane Magnus, jungle Enigma, Jakiro +1 in the safe lane. And there's nothing for SkyHigh to really punish this with. They even banned out probably the best solo, well, one of the best solo mates to deal with Night Stalker. Aside from TA, it would be Queen of Pain, but she's not available to them. And I'm not sure what their plan is. This draft feels like a little schizophrenic. It's like, oh, we want an aggressive tri-lane. We want an aggressive lady hero. Undying's a strong hero in this version. Let's pick him. Then, well, we need a bit of team fight. We don't want them to have the team fight edge. They picked Mag. Let's respond with the Tide. And then we go into the Rubik pick, and it's, well, we need a support. What's the most versatile support left? It's the Rubik. I just don't feel like they have a clear plan in mind. There doesn't seem to be an overarching strategy, and especially the way they're responding to Fnatic. Shadow Demon's the pick. Who do you round this lineup out with? No hard carry. Worst team fight. A lot rests on this laning stage. Even with Shadow Demon, they still don't have that much burst damage. If Undying has a really good laning stage, everything could change, and all bets are off the board. We've seen it before, but aside from that, I'm feeling like SkyHigh just is a little bit one-dimensional here, and they're picking good heroes rather than heroes that work for their team. Fnatic are going to round out what already is a very team fight-heavy lineup with one of the better team fighting carries in the game, the Gyrocopter. Oh boy, I'm excited for this. This is a hero that's got some swagger. This is actually my favorite hero in all of Dota. In Dota 1, in Dota 2, it is a lot of fun to play. And he synergizes well with Ice Path, with Reverse Polarity, Black Hole. They have all these spells to pull enemy heroes into a small area and then hold them there in place. Gyrocopter can do a lot of damage. He can quickly chew through them. He's also fantastic against the Tombstone. I believe, someone can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure every single flat cannon proc will hit all zombies that are inside of the AoE. So it's great for farming Tombstone zombies and also just helping your team to escape. It gives you a lot of gold and experience as well. So I think this is a smart pick. I believe it was actually, it's going to escape me. I think it was in Raid Call. I want to say it was in Empire versus EG. One of the teams picked Gyrocopter to counter the Tombstone, to counter the zombies. I could be remembering the match wrong, but I know it has been done before. And it is a pretty strong pick, but with this lineup especially, because one of Gyrocopter's other weaknesses is that he doesn't have really good setup at all. Sure, he's got Hobie Missile, but in practice, quite hard to actually land it. But when you avoid Malefice, Black Hole, Ice Path, Reverse Polarity, and Skewer, you're going to hit some Hobie Missiles if you ever want to go for it. You don't have to, but it is an option. SkyHigh rents things out with a Luna. I think this is probably their best choice, and I guess we're looking at a solo mid Rubik? Matrum's gonna go solo mid because he's not playing support for this team. He has been playing that solo mid role. So they're rushing the Ravage, which at the very least, given this draft, that is the best way to do it. They need an early Ravage or they're just not gonna be able to take fights later on. Getting the Ravage quickly, he's got to find openings. He can't just get Ravage and then farm. He's got to get the Ravage, maybe pick up a rune, maybe have a Smoke of Deceit or TP, and go fight. Because once Fnatic get all their basic levels and items up, maybe the mech on Enigma, you know, your phase boots, just your drums perhaps on Gyrocopter, or working towards your Shadow Blade, Era, Treads, just those basic utility items, maybe a Blink of Magnus, there's no fighting them head on. It's just not going to happen. But in the early levels, in the first 10 to 15 minutes, that's where SH can really have a big impact. So Trixie, going to be playing the Magnus. 4 sets of wards up on him, leading the charge for this team. Trixie, normally the hard carry for this squad. Era, one of the other farmers. Usually, I think the 2 position nowadays. He's playing the Night Stalker. Fly, or who's calling himself Fly, my Schneckle, is going to be on that support Twin-Headed Dragon. GK, this is Hani. Hani on the Gyrocopter. And No Tail playing the Enigma. So, how are... Well, maybe, I guess sometimes it's Trixie on the card carry, but not always, because it looks like he's going off lane. Again, this is just my lack of experience watching Fnatic. We'll see how the lanes develop. But No Tail is going to be in the jungle. He'll be denied a creep from bottom. And can they actually shut down this off-lane mag? That's been a big story at the Star Ladder, or at really a lot of events, but especially at Dreamhack, that, and even at G1 League, that off-lane Magnetar just can't be shut down in laning stage. It's just... Even when he's shut down, it requires such a big investment that you pretty much win your other 2 lanes by default, and thus come out with a huge edge in the game. And Rubik wanted to throw him up on a hill, but even with Skewer, that's not going to be able to do anything. So dual lane mid. They don't want to give the one-on-one matchup. Tide versus Night Stalker. You do give an edge to Tide Hunter just because of Anchor Smash spam, but it's still a lane where Night Stalker can get some farm. He shouldn't die early on, but they're putting a lot of priority on shutting down Matrim. These aggressive dual lanes from the Dire side are susceptible to mid pulls, but that's why we see this Observer Ward here, blocking the pulls, making sure the Tide will get level quickly in this lane. In the off lane, we have the Suicide Lane Zombie. We have Wish playing for SkyHigh. He's going to be our Undying. Matrim, of course, on the Tide Hunter. Rocket Man on the Rubik. Pylai Dai, who spent a long time in the bathroom. He is now back. He's on the Shadow Demon. Peppy is going to be playing that Luna. Going for the very standard build. Tranquil Boots first, most likely. So far, Trixie not getting too much. In fact, his Wish is getting more. This is the one downside. If you run the dual lane mid and you run the Enigma in the jungle, you can't really keep Undying out of the lane. Especially with a hero like Gyrocopter. He's just not that strong in the laning stage. He's good. He can definitely prevent Undying from getting aggressive, especially with Rocket Barrage. But he's not necessarily going to be able to keep him out of the lane. So they don't even bother that. They just value getting No Tail, his quick farm. Probably going to rush a mech. It is coming back to me. It is No Tail who plays the Enigma. So this is standard for them, actually. The brain does fuzzy things to you. It's so hard nowadays. There's just so many teams emerging on the scene. And Fnatic, who... The story with them has been that they have struggled to make the transition to Dota 2. Especially coming from Heroes of Newerth, there were high expectations. They were by far the best team in the European scene in Dota 2, and, well, they've been adapting better as of late. They've been getting some decent results. I know some people actually had them as favorites, maybe even to win this group. It'd be kind of a dark horse going into the playoffs. Haste to Trixie charging mid. Matrim, no wards for him. Whoa, really? What did I just miss? How did this happen? Oh god, for anyone watching Dota TV, hopefully you caught that. For anyone who's not, I would recommend going back at Dota TV and finding out what the hell happened there. I think he may have gotten stuck, trapped by the neutrals, tried to disrupt himself to survive, but wasn't able to actually do so in the end. That was definitely not a free fountain trip for Pylai Dai, because he didn't spend his gold first, so not intentional. Clearly got trapped, got caught, maybe just tanked the neutrals for too long. Oh, it does end up falling. Some bumps along the road for these guys. Peppy getting free farm. They're trading this for a Night Stalker, getting a lot of CS mid, but not as many levels. Levels very important for Night Stalker. You really need your Void max as soon as possible. That's the crucial thing. After that, it gets important to level up Hunter of the Night. You really want to get your ult up to level 2, just to make sure those Knights last a bit longer. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Trixie is finding a solo kill on the support on the Rubik. Shadow Demon already died to neutrals. Now the off-lane mag strikes again, kills off the Rubik in lane. The struggles mount. It's already hard enough to deal with off-lane Magnus. Giving up a kill to the neutrals and then giving him a kill, not going to make life any easier. Now Wish getting caught. This should be a pretty easy kill. 3 points into Rocket Barrage. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, looks like Magnus has fallen, but Wish dropping low. And will they be able to kill him off? Not clear just yet. The zombies have been killed rather quickly. Second wave of Rocket Barrages. Rocket Barrage will be enough to bring him down. But they did get the off-lane mag. Trixie respawns. Surging his way back towards that lane. Doesn't want to waste any time getting there. Wants to save the TP scroll, I guess, to counter gank. Or to TP to safety.
Radiant's top tower
But with 3 stuns, he's not getting away. They have 3 ways to cancel TPs in this lane. Matrim, already level 5, is going to have Ravage soon. But where do you go with this Ravage? It's obviously important in the mid game to have it. But who are you going to gank? No Tail, not really an easy target because you don't know where he is half the time. Hani, as a safe lane farmer, not an easy target either. They will get aggressive middle lane disruption and then the Soul Catcher, actually in the opposite order. Era dropping low. One more auto tech will bring him down. This was 2 supports rotating into the lane. They pick up the Night Stalker kill. He's not as high level as he normally would be because of the dual lanes. They don't get tons of experience, but they still get something. Now the Soul Catcher. This would be big if they can get another. But no boots, no mana on Matrim. Era comes in middle lane. Matrim will just walk away. Still no Ravage. Getting close, though. Peppy as well. Right when they hit 6, I think they will have a bit of an advantage. Mainly because Trixie isn't 6 yet, although he's getting close. In fact, he's keeping pace with Tide. This is not really desirable. When they have an off-lane... I mean, if you throw a Beastmaster to this position, he's not getting those levels. He's just not. He doesn't have the escape mechanism. Even Rocket's not as spammable as something like Shockwave. Costs more mana relative to your mana pool. Sure, you can stack Ancients catch up later, but you're not getting the quick level 6. You're getting maybe a similarly timed level 7 or 8 a bit down the road once your Soul Rain is up. But because he has the quick level 6, it just opens the game up a lot for Fnatic. They already have Black Hole momentarily. Even Gyrocopter's going to hit extremely hard. Has actually maxed Rocket Barrage. I really thought we'd see flat counted max, maybe Homie Missile, because they have lots of setup for it. But he's going just to be in the middle of the fights, doing as much damage as possible while chasing. And they do have a great chasing lineup. It could work, but Rocket Barrage doesn't scale super well. It does double the damage at level 4 that it does at level 1. Doesn't scale as well as something like Homie Missile. But does give you the maximum possible burst if you're able to get the full duration off. Just such a passive game. After some of the games I've solo cast today, it's... probably good for my voice that this one is a little bit calmer. Backstab attempted on Matrim. It'll be started off by a nice level 3 nuke. And now the Skewer narrowly misses Trixie, but the Void comes in. Matrim still not level 6, 1 creep away. Even if he had Ravage, though, that wouldn't accomplish anything. Maybe he saves his own life, but they needed to fight. He can't just use it as an escape mechanism. Without Ravage, they don't have a team fight. Sure, you've got Tombstone, but you have Demonic Conversions to focus that down. You've got Gyrocopter to kill off the zombies quickly, even with level 1 flat count. It's still pretty good at that. Magnetar, soon to have that Empower top lane. They're going to go in. Black Hole after the ult from Ani. They really want this kill, and Wish will fall. And you see the cooldown on Rocket Barrage. If you're able to just stand there and deliver the damage, it's insane. 23 damage per second, or 23 damage per rocket, 10 rockets per second. It is a lot of freaking damage over the course of 3 seconds. About 600 damage before reduction, I think. A little bit more. Even closer to 700 before reduction, I think. Doing some mental math. The last time I did mental math, I was rather horribly wrong, so... we'll see. Ay. Well, they get the tower top and Gyrocopter with Enigma here. They can just keep on pushing this tower. And offlane Undying, unlike that offlane Magnus, just not as good at stopping the push. But the good news is, Luna is pretty good at creating a push of her own. Has gone for a single point in the glaive. Expect to see her level up the RNX, but it's definitely Fnatic pushing faster. They're already chewing through this tier 2. This is going to give them a huge spike in gold, and they have heroes who benefit. They're going to have an early mech up on the Enigma. They'll probably have a relatively quick blink dagger on the Magnus. Even the Night Stalker will get all his basic items, now being left alone mid. We'll see the treads come out soon, the urn. And once they get that basic level of items, they can just go 5-man. And really, what is SH going to do about it? Even with the perfect Ravage, the early mech mostly negates that damage. You're going to have demonic conversions to tank the Eclipse. A well-executed push from Fnatic. Pretty damn hard to stop. I think it's got to be split push as a response from SkyHigh. Especially with Rubik not even being 6, they don't really have the horses to win in a head-on clash. And, well, this isn't going to help. Look at that ult from Gyrocopter. Such a low cooldown. Easy kill claim. 3 TPs into this, but what can they actually do? They pull in the Enigma. Black Hole is on cooldown. There is a Ravage here. Will he blow it? He has a DD. Doesn't want to just yet. Now the rocket flies in. Matrim about to be stunned. No Tail about to TP out. He's going to do so now. Silence on the Matrim. Really, No Tail? Really, are you going to escape? Yes, he is. In come the rocket barrages again. Going the other way. In goes my phone, making tons of noise with that alarm clock. Good thing I didn't wake up now, or I would have missed about all the matches today. On the Matrim, Soul Catcher, dropping him low, but Hani's going to have another rocket barrage when he uses this one. Meanwhile, the urn charge will bring down the Night Stalker. Just really clutch play. Night Stalker silencing that Tide, ensuring that Enigma could TP out. The rocket as well to slow down the Tide Hunter. Just really nice teamwork from Fnatic. Very impressive, and this is why they favor nuke-heavy lineups, because then it values teamwork more. You go for coordination, you go for teamwork. Sure, they might not be quite as experienced at Dota as, you know, teams who have been in the scene for a long time, for many years. They played some Heroes of North along the way, but teamwork is a universal skill, and they are showing some exceptional coordination in these fights. That's what you need. And that really favors them when they already have the better team composition. So I love the way Fnatic is playing. I think it's really the perfect way to handle this game. No Tail, the ult cooling down soon. They still haven't used a Ravage. You run solo mid Tidehunter, you do it for the early Ravage. He didn't get it quickly. Wasn't farming as fast as he might like. There was quite a few denies middle lane early on. But the bigger thing is, even when he's had it, he just hasn't found the openings. And that's the beauty of the Fnatic lineup. With Night Stalker, with all these little stuns, they have so many ways to just kite him and avoid allowing him to set up a big Ravage. That's where you need a Blink Dagger. But by the time he has it, they're probably going to have a mech skewering to start things off from Peppy into the reverse polarity. No hesitation from Trixie. Easy kill here. And now No Tail could go in on this. This could be another death. The TP will be canceled. Fnatic just really outmaneuvering SH and looking incredibly potent. Pylai is going to get caught, and he will die to this. This is a death trap. Oh, Shockwave, such a satisfying way to finish off a kill. What's plan B? What is plan B for these guys? They ran an off-lane Undying. He's not a great farmer. It's not a Clinks that we see from Empire where you can split push. He's a team fight specialist. He's a lane dominator. He didn't dominate the lane. He's not really team fighting now. So they pick these heroes. Again, it's like I talked about in the draft. It just felt like they were picking strong heroes rather than a lineup that worked for them. And certainly the way the game has developed, this lineup is not working for them whatsoever. Of course, if Fnatic win this game, they're in prime position to finish first in this group. The last opponent for them will be Dignitas. They've already taken care of business versus Pulse on the back of a really potent anti-mage, a really fat anti-mage. Now looking to go bottom lane, Ice Path into the missile. That will be the goal here. Ice Path narrowly to miss. Do they still dive this? There's the clip. Peppy thinking about it. There's your Gyrocopter, bringing Peppy low. Bringing the support slow as well. Just long range sniping. Matrim. Damn it, I want a Ravage, he says. God damn it, I'm so tired. I want a Ravage. Where is the Ravage? Doesn't need it. Hani will get abandoned, picked off. But that's okay. You have an Enigma who can push middle lane. Enigma, a great split pusher if the enemy team doesn't have the mobility to gank him. And they don't. They don't have a Wisp Chaos Knight. They don't have a Prophet. They don't have anyone who's mobile enough to really properly punish this kind of split pushing. So, and still, no Ravage on a solo mid Tide. We're now at the 13-minute mark. It just feels a bit silly at this point. You know, it's not what SkyHigh imagined, obviously. They don't put Tidehunter mid, not to Ravage. But you just got to credit Fnatic for good movement, good kiting. He had the one opportunity bottom, but it was denied by the rocket and the silence. And it works out beautifully in the end. This is... I really like this build from Gyrocopter if you want to play the way that Fnatic is. You can go for the hard carry build. I know that's what Wagamama has said in the past he favors. Things like Phase Boot, Shadow Blade. You just go for really fast farming. You max Flat Cannon. You take 1 point in Rocket Barrage. Sometimes you max Homing Missile. Sometimes you take more stats early on. And you just focus on farming. You get a Helm of the Dominator, or you have your teammates stack the Ancients. You're constantly farming stack camps, using that Flat Cannon to increase your gold per minute as much as possible. Then you go for raw damage, and basically you look to just wipe out the entire enemy team with an entire wave of Flat Cannon shots. But the way that we're seeing Hani play is it suits this lineup much better. He's going for more of the ganker build, more of that in-your-face kind of Gyrocopter, getting the cheap, cost-effective tanker items like Rin of Aquila, like Drum of Endurance, which also help his team chase, also help his team push. This allows him to be in the middle of the fight, and sure, he's probably going to die, but he'll do a lot of damage before he does so. He'll make it worth his weight in gold, or blood, as the case might be. And I think it's just a great way to combo. Plus, you've got Magnus. And later on, he can give you a power, which I believe does stack with Flat Cannon. Just gives you more damage, and then that will be splashed through. So it's not like a critical strike. It will splash with the Flat Cannon, and thus you can do tons of AoE. And they already have that good initial burst. Still, the cooldown very powerful. When you're up against Gyrocopter, sometimes you can just dodge his nukes, but in this game, they can't dodge them, so they need a pipe. They need a mech. Something solo mid-tide could normally pick up, but not looking like he's going to be able to anytime soon in this game. Matrim went back for the Arcane Boots. Just going for more of a farming build, more of a mid-game support build. Dust or Invisrune will be popped. Now they throw Jakiro back into the Tombstone. No, straight up in the air. Not back towards the team, and he'll just walk away. Double damage Night Stalker has rotated top. It looks like our Gyrocopters join the fight mid. Getting pretty tanky. It feels a discombobulated from SkyHigh right now. In game 1, they looked a little bit sharper. This draft, I don't know how comfortable some of their heroes are on the roles they were asked to play. Especially that off-lane Undying. He went for the Tombstone max. It tells you they want a team fight, but how do they find a fight? I mean, they can't chase anyone down. I guess if you Demonic Purge, which finally he'll have access to. They don't have Track, they don't have Warcry, they don't have any of these abilities we see nowadays, where they just allow your team to stay in close and continue chasing, setting up the big ults. They also don't have the items to do it. They don't have Blink Daggers, they don't have a BKB on Luna. And even when she gets that BKB, you still have 2 ways to go through it. She's more or less a melee range hero. It's going to be hard not to get caught. That is one of the ways to counter them, is heroes like Enigma, heroes like your Magnus, who just, when you try to get in close to do damage, you get Black Hole, you get reverse polarity, and it doesn't matter if you have a BKB. Gyrocopter and Magnus are going to be able to auto-attack you down. Even the Night Stalker is going to hit pretty damn hard. As this game continues to progress, over 8k gold lead for the Dire side. Massive lead, as you expect. They have the 1-tower advantage. More importantly, they've just been farming more efficiently. They had the jungle Enigma. And they have the better flash farmers. Undying doesn't farm quickly. Shadow Demon doesn't farm quickly. Tide is okay. Rubik's okay. And Luna's decent, but this is nothing compared to Enigma early game. And in the mid game, heroes like Magnus, Gyrocopter, as well as Twin-Headed Dragon, just so much faster at flash farming. So in a passive stalemate kind of game where SkyHigh can't find a team fight, that's going to favor Fnatic. And again, they have to make something happen soon. Their lineup just isn't going to go that late, I feel. Despite this Luna being farmed. I suppose if Fnatic really overextend, if they don't hit any of their ults, then it could go better. But if you either get a reverse polarity or a black hole in that Luna, she's dying. I mean, she's not doing anything in the fight. So for Fnatic, just the game plan, sit back, play it safe, get your BKBs up, look towards your support items. And it is mass BKBs. It's going to be a triple BKB. I think once these are complete, they just go. Force a fight at Roshan. The Ravage won't affect you. The Tombstone can be focused down. And then what is this squad left with? Eclipse doesn't go through BKB. They don't have an answer for mass BKBs. They don't have enough physical DPS right now to deal with it. And the BKB rush on Luna will help her survive. Doesn't help her kill Fnatic. Whereas Fnatic, they have all the damage in the world without going for damage items. is one of those games where I almost feel like there should be a clock just ticking right here in the top right corner of my screen, basically saying the death push is coming in 10 minutes time, or whatever the case might be. I like what they're doing with the Night Stalker as well. They're letting him catch up in levels, and that was one issue for him. When you dual lane mid, sure, you shut down the tide a little bit, but your Night Stalker does fall behind. Now he's catching up. As far as our levels go, he is tied, almost tied for second highest in the game. They have a big experience lead. Look at this. You have support heroes of the Radiant that are level 6, and the lowest level on the Dire side is an 8 Jakiro. Everybody else is 10 or higher. Everybody else is double digits. Trixie now has his Blink Dagger. All kinds of big items coming up. BKB number 1 complete. Night Stalker getting close to his. Gyrocopter maybe a bit farther out. Does he have anything on the courier? No, sir. Nope, so he's a bit farther away, but there's no rush. There's just no hurry. I just feel SkyHigh should have a much bigger sense of urgency than they do. I guess they're going for an ultra late game Luna. And if she's able to sit there and auto attack, I think she might be able to out carry the Gyrocopter. She is a bit stronger as a late game carry, I feel. Gyrocopter, very reliant on his flat cannon, which doesn't last forever. You don't get to use it the entire fight. He is quite low range. He's not quite as mobile as the Luna. It's a little bit easier to kite. The problem, though, is they have the anti-carries on the side of Fnatic. Demonic Purge onto 1. They not only have the anti-carries, they also have a more balanced lineup. They have Magnus, who still does decent damage, Night Stalker, who with the power can hit pretty hard. They're not entirely reliant on their hard carry, whereas SH is. Luna has to live, and she has to do a ton of damage for them to take a fight. And Fnatic know they're way ahead. They've got the BKBs up. 1 on the Enigma. Gyrocopter's coming soon. Night Stalker has his. It's nighttime. Second night begins, and an easy Roshan to be claimed by them. Just smart play from Fnatic, having the wards down, understanding their position in this game, knowing and feeling confident enough to just go for Rosh. Something in the past I've seen them struggle with when I was casting them a lot 3 or 4 months ago was just decision making. Sometimes it just felt like they were getting out mind game by their opponents, like they weren't making the right calls, but they have been making all the right calls in this game, and from what I understand, they played pretty well in the other one. Aegis will be picked up by Hani. Nope, by Era.
Immortality.
Gyrocopter definitely a much easier kill, especially without his BKB, but hey, Era can charge in. Hani can sit a little bit farther back, and now with the Aegis up, it's the death ball we talked about. And it's SH, what do? You don't have great split push. You gotta try and find a backstab, which is what they're going for. But this has to be a perfect Blink Ravage on everyone. If it is, they have a chance in this fight. If it's not, they lose the fight. That's pretty much how the fight's gonna roll. Trixie in the back lines. That's the Blink Dagger. The smoke is going to get dispelled. Matron blinks in. Ravage catches everyone. No BKBs pop. Slow reactions from Fnatic. Doesn't matter, though. BKB now into Matron. Oh, my God. What a crazy team fight. The Eclipse doing absolutely nothing. Now the reverse polarity onto team fight supremacy from Fnatic, who got initiated upon. But where is the follow-up? Now Luna, as mentioned, can do a lot of damage in her own right. But who can she actually focus down? The answer is nobody. Team wipe. Going the way of Fnatic, only the Aegis expended. Fnatic a little bit slow in the reactions. I thought at least one hero would get their BKB off, but it didn't matter. They're too tanky. They have the BKBs up. They have heroes who are so highly leveled that I don't even think they have a mech, but even without a mech, you're just too tanky, too survivable. And there's just no follow-up. This is the difference in the lineups between the two. It was a lineup from SkyHigh that just had to do well in the laning stage. And unfortunately, they didn't have the lanes to really punish Fnatic. You also have to credit Fnatic for making some smart adjustments, running the dual lane mid, focusing on keeping that Tidehunter down. They haven't got Rax yet, but it is looking quite good. Skewering back in on the D-Rocket Man. Easy kill played by him. Now the Gyrocopter sitting on the front lines, now backing off, has the ult again. They could look to go. Here comes the ult, here comes the missile, lots of nukes. Is Hani really committing to this? Hani is known for his aggression at times. Oh, what a snipe by Trixie. Beautiful little snipe by him. Matron on the back foot. Here comes the rocket. Huge heal from the Undying, trying to keep everyone alive. Desperately trying to complete that back capping, dropping low. Running in to the rocket just so it won't do as much damage. He will be able to live just barely. Fnatic just overwhelming SH. SkyHigh just getting bulldozed. But still holding on to Rex somehow. It's been such a long fight, the reverse polarity has almost pulled down. Insane. And also bad for my voice. Oh, JK. Hani is going to drop. This is looking, in spite of the fact that Fnatic don't take Rex, that is looking to be a pretty ridiculous team fight for them. Over 15k gold advantage, over 15k experience advantage. Better late game, better team fight. More farmed heroes, more important team fight items. Also hard counters to the initiation of SkyHigh in the BKBs. Not sure how Fnatic lose this one at this point, honestly. Maybe they wait for the next Roshan if they really want to play it safe. Remember, if they win this game, they're 2-0 in the group, and they're looking poised to advance. Fnatic.EU. They've had their struggles, but give them credit for persevering, for showing a lot of diligence with Dota 2. I mean, I think more so than almost any European team, but they've stuck together, and they've done so, dare I say it, with nearly the same exact roster. I know Trixie was off the team, rejoined them at some point. He played... I know he played on a team with Sing Sing before Mouse Sports. He's gotten around a lot, but aside from that, it's been pretty consistent. BKB about to be finished on Hottie, but this is the kind of fight they want. Blink in, they go onto the gyrocopter, but even he lives forever. He will die because of the Soul Catcher. Arrow walks away. Blink and Ravage just for the gyrocopter. If it was a really farmed hard carry that all the eggs were in that one basket, probably worth it. When it's a gyrocopter and you're up against multiple teamfight ults going the other way, maybe not. Hard to say. And now Trixie coming in, has the Blink Dagger, has a BKB of his own. That is 4 BKBs about to be completed for this team. They would have had them if Hani hadn't been so damn greedy, hadn't gone for those bits of travel. It's not a bad item. It does allow him to keep up with the mobility of heroes that have Blink Daggers, heroes that are just faster on the map like Night Stalker. And Gyrocopter is a pretty good split pusher. Here comes Fnatic. They haven't actually got Rex yet, as well as they are doing. Remember, the throne has to die before the game ends. Gem up on Era. This is going to help. This is really going to limit the ward vision and just general map control that we can see from SH.
Radiant's top tower is under
Tower will
attack.
fall. Era's going to last today. Era getting pretty beefy.
Radiant's top tower
Oh boy,
has
here
fallen.
comes the backstab. Here comes Trixie. And a wise and hasty retreat. No, maybe not. Reverse polarity on 2. Black hole to follow, probably. Ice Path. Look at the burst damage. Oh my god, look at the burst damage now. On to Undying. The Rocket Barrage. Where's that skewer? It's no mana for it. It's no mana for skewer. Do they need it? It doesn't look like it. Hani cast at him. Oh man, Eclipse. Total Eclipse doing some good damage. Gyrocopter, no BKB from yet. He will be forced to run away. Meanwhile, on the other end of play, it looks like Undying was brought down. Now back into Peppy, who's still giving chase. Trixie juking like a boss. Trixie absolutely can't touch this, he says. Now Peppy to fall. Oh, that black hole. Maybe a bit of overkill. But they do get the kill in the end. That's the important thing. Ravage is coming off cooldown.
Dire's bottom tower
And Fnatic
is
are
under
low.
attack.
Lack of Mecha the Enigma is not stalling the pushes, but making it a bit hard to just go for towers, go for X after you win a fight. And what's working right now in the favor of SkyHigh is that they're so underleveled that they just respawn real quickly. I mean, look at this. 4 heroes in the bottom 4 levels. Out of all 10, they have the 4 of the bottom 5. That is not a place you want to be. They do Blink Ravage in 5
Radiant's
seconds.
middle tower has fallen.
But this game, I really feel like this game, it crowns it really crowns the Magnus as the supreme offlane teamfight specialist in Dota, if not the supreme offlane specialist in Dota right now. And it shows the limitations of Tidehunter. You even running him as a solo mid, you can run him as offlane. I don't think it matters. Matron at the early Ravage. It's not that the hero doesn't work. It's just it's not as reliable as the Magnetar. He doesn't have the escape mechanism. He doesn't have the long range farming. He doesn't buff your carry. And his ult can be handled by BKB, so we're seeing, I think, just the ascension in this game of Magnus over the Tide. That is one of the interesting storylines, not only coming out of this game, but also coming out of the past couple of weeks of Dota around the world, whether it's G1 League in Asia, whether it's European Dota. It just continues to be the Tide who hasn't had the biggest impact. He will try to focus on Jakiro. They bring him down first, but where's that next level of kills? Immediate buyback from Jakiro. They want in. They have the Blink reverse polarity. Could skewer into that one, but they don't have the follow-up. They're waiting for Hani. Hani's got his BKB now. Here comes a hasted Era. Are they really going to be able to catch these SkyHigh heroes? They have wards littering the enemy side of the map. They have some insane vision right now. That fuels the aggression. And where did he TP home? Yes, he did. Hani says, "Get me out of here. I'm an old man. I need a nap." That's a reference to Gyrocopter, not to Hani, although he is a bit of an old man in the Dota scene. In a good way, in a good way. He's a grizzled veteran. On to Peppy we go. The Void to start this off. Look at the damage Era does just from Empower. 160 damage. Era now silencing up the Rubik. Not really the most dedicated focus fire from Fnatic, showing some well, not questionable, but not ideal decision-making. Meanwhile, Mage from split pushing. He knows without the Ravage, it's up to his team to defend. He can't do a whole lot here. Fnatic with the 4 BKBs. How do you not just 5-man? Maybe they're waiting for Hani. 10 seconds to go. He can TP in. They've got reverse polarity. They've got Black Hole in 30 seconds. They don't have the BKB on Night Stalker, so maybe wait for that. But otherwise, there ain't nothing stopping this train. And Ravage still on cooldown for a full minute. In comes Hani. They're not able to kill that creep in time. Not able to cancel it. Wisely, he TPs to the catapult. Now the spam comes out. They just don't have the best spam. Shadow Poison ain't going to cut it. You need a Keeper of the Light here. Blinking at his Trixie. Whoa, buddy. He misclicked something there. Very late on the skewer. Didn't actually hit anything anyway. Peppy charging in. Backing off. Fainting left. Fainting right. Nobody committed to this fight yet. Now Fnatic have the mech. Went back for it. No Tail did. A smart item pickup from him. This will really help against the Luna, against that bonus damage that she gives our whole team with Lunar Blessing. Round 2, fight, and I really think Fnatic, with this fight, they should easily be able to take the tower. The Glyph is still here, so maybe you bait out the Glyph, but no. They sit back, they let the creep wave get killed, and then they're really waiting this one out. Maybe they should just back off for the Aegis. They don't seem confident. They don't really feel comfortable forcing the fight. If they don't, then the best thing to do is to back off or blink in, reverse polarity on Peppy if they try to help him. Oh, this could go badly. Dice Job Disruption is actually going to block the skewer, but Peppy gets caught by the black hole anyway. This is that redundant, reliable team fight we talked about. 2 heroes now dead. Buyback from Luna. But they did use both of the ults, so maybe this is going to be a decent fight. The BKB is wearing off. Ravage is here as well. Will it be enough damage? Peppy trying to get some kills. Era dropping low. Gem on the floor. Fnatic are just really overextending here. That reverse polarity hitting 1 seems to be costing them quite a bit. Now into No Tail. Getting caught. Getting focused. Actually, in the middle of this, Rubik actually stole reverse polarity and used it against them. Well, that might help explain the team fight, although I don't know how many heroes he actually caught there. But wow. Talk about an overextension from Fnatic. This is perhaps why we saw them be so tentative. But really, if you hit that reverse polarity on more than just the Luna, you win the fight. No questions asked. Only catching the Luna, and then she had buyback. Immediately they tried to retreat, but they weren't able to get out in time. And crucially, all the BKB cooldowns were used at probably not the right moment. Maybe a bit premature in some of those. And they weren't up when they needed them. SkyHigh turtling well. We're hoping for Fnatic to make a mistake, and Fnatic will oblige. We have our first slight dip upwards in the gold graph, but only slight. Still a 20k gold lead, a 20k experience lead. It is just a filthy advantage right now. Let's be honest. This is huge. This should not be surmountable. It really shouldn't be. I did mention if they were going to win a team fight, it really came down to Rubik stealing something. Stealing reverse polarity isn't ideal, though, because then he's got to walk into the middle of the fight and get it off. But he stole it, and he made it work. Maybe a Blink Dagger's in order for him. Black Hole's probably the one you really want. A little bit easier to steal, a little bit safer. He will have reverse polarity for a while. But Fnatic with the 20k gold advantage, despite that bad fight, should easily be able to go into Rosh. The ults will cool down. Black Hole, you gotta wait a minute, but that gives you time to farm the enemy jungle, then start pushing the bottom lane. By the time everything's up, you go again, and this time, well, you catch more than one in that reverse polarity, and you don't give it away to the Rubik, and it should be a pretty easy Rax for them. Glyph was also used. That'll be on cooldown. That's the other component to this.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Immortality.
Once again, they prioritize Era as the most important hero. They give him the Aegis again. He's going to be going in first. At this point in the game, normally your Gyrocopter is more of your hard carry, more of your damage dealer. He is ranged. He's got tons of AoE. Night Stalker is a single target hero when it comes down to it. In paper, the Gyrocopter is going to be the better DPSer, but Night Stalker does have to be on the front lines, and Fnatic just, well, with the Daedalus up on Era, they feel that he should be the one carrying that Aegis. Let's see if he can make use of it. Last time wasn't quite enough. And the other big thing to keep an eye on that really turned that fight is the buybacks. Luna, 2 minutes to go before her respawn. Lucy Beam comes in on no tail. Now Peppy running away. Has the Yasha picked up. Whew. It really should be Fnatic's game to win. It really should be. I know it sounds a little bit silly after they lose that fight horribly, but they still have the better team fight lineup. Nothing has changed in that respect. They've got the better team fight. They've got more farm on their carries. They've got more carries. Sure, maybe not the hardest carry in the game, but it's not like Luna is a Faceless Void where she can solo an entire team with a Manta style and a BKB. She needs a little bit more than that. It just comes down to execution, and Fnatic, after some great early to mid-game coordination, not quite showing that they can just push this one over the hump. If they win this game, 2-0 for them, and it would put SH down to 0-2. SH, out of all of your sort of, you know, qualifier teams, whether it's BYRC, whether it's pre-event qualifiers, non-invited teams, basically, they should have the inside track. If they can get a win here, they've got more veteran players, they've got more known players than anyone else we've seen, with Matron, with Peppy. They should have a shot going into their last match. That would be... oh boy, that's against Pulse. So if they could beat Pulse and win this game, somehow come back, then they're 2-1, and they would probably be a team looking to advance at that point. I think there is a potential for a three-way tie. Not sure what actually happened with the last game. Maybe someone in the chat will fill me in. 34 minutes in, but it feels like a lot longer. I don't know why. Sometimes games feel really short. Sometimes they feel really long. This one, it feels very long. Apparently, Dignitas... Well, I'm going to spoil the other game, but apparently Dignitas took the last game. So that puts them to 2-0 in the group. So Dignitas in strong position. I think they would have been my slight favorite to win this group. So they're 2-0. SkyHigh could be 1-1, could be 0-2 after this. And the same for Fnatic. They could be 2-0. They could be 1-1. Vlad's up on the Magnetar, just anything to help them get over the damn hump to get up the ramp. What are they waiting for, though? The Aegis is going to run out, so Gem up on the Night Stalker again. Maybe it's the map control they're concerned about. Era is going to walk right by a ward. He's smoked. Do they care? They've given time for the Glyph to cooldown. They've given time for the buyback to cooldown, and Luna's got the buyback again. Peppy wisely not spending his gold. Especially with the BKB, you're much better off dying once, buying back, coming back to life, having the BKB for the second fight when Fnatic's already used theirs. That's how we saw them win the last fight, was exactly with that strategy. This is smart. Sometimes, especially if you're ahead, you don't need to save for buyback, even if you could lose. You just you have the commanding position where that extra damage just wins you a fight. This game, not really the case. They need Fnatic to waste some spells or mess a couple spells up if they want to take a fight. Even now, it's still just a massive lead. They're still getting out farm. They're still desperately behind in experience. Constant Shadow Poison spam. Has there been any other item pickups of note? Mech has been up on Undying for a little while. Oh, Peppy. He's trying to bait here. Maybe he wants to die and just come back with the buyback. That was, if it's bait, it's a little bit aggressive, especially because Tidehunter isn't actually there. He's going for a Refresher Orb. Blink in. Oh no, the reverse polarity on 2. This is that big team fight combo. Rocket Man needs to steal Black Hole. He will look to steal it. He walks into it. Oh no, and he's dead. That should probably be the game. Demonic Purge on Era. Aegis is still up though. Even if they focus Era down once, they got to do it again. Here comes the Eclipse. Here comes the Ravage. Era. Dry. Actually, maybe it's not the game. Maybe with that buyback from Peppy, it'll be enough. Peppy try to do what he can in this fight, and, well, Matron now in trouble. This is going to be another death. Ice Path as well. Matron will fall. Finally, Fnatic reached the high ground. Finally, they win a convincing team fight. I'm sure a sigh of relief for their fans and for this team, who I wouldn't say they were ever in danger of losing this game, but they had a bit of a blip on the radar. Good for them to be able to just clean that blip up, knock it off the map.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
And, well, reverse polarity just showing itself to be so freaking good. If Rubik gets stolen Black Hole, I don't think it's enough anyway. Eclipse only did damage at the very end there when the BKBs were wearing off. Even then, you've got demonic conversions, you've got creeps tanking it. We could play the what if game, but for me, the what if is, what if SH had picked heroes that seem to have more of a theme and a strategy behind them? They are a bit of a mixed team, from what I understand, and although they've played well individually, I just feel there isn't quite that team cohesion and coordinated strategy that you hope to see out of a team looking to advance out the group stages. Fnatic definitely had one. They wanted to gank, they wanted to force fights, they wanted to group up as 5, use that Magnetar with the reverse polarity and the black hole combo, bully SH around the map, get the towers down early, outmap, control them, outfarm them, use that dire advantage to secure Roshan. This was the game plan. It was very clear from the start, even from the picks, exactly what they wanted to do, and they delivered. BKB, TP out from Gyrocopter, and there's no answer for this. It looked like he was running forward for a second there. Well, they lost 2 lanes of Rex. Technically, they haven't lost the throne yet, sitting around a 30k gold deficit, around 30k experience deficit. Basher, well, that's one item you can build on Gyrocopter. Oh, wouldn't be my first choice. 10% chance to bash on a ranged hero. Of course, not nearly as good as melee. Doesn't have particularly good attack speed. You don't bash off a flat cannon procs. But it's more of a, we're really far ahead, we're not losing this game, so I'm going to build a fun item kind of thing from Hani. And, well, they are really far ahead, and they are very unlikely to lose this game. It is possible, though. Matron about to get caught. He's close to that refresher orb. No buyback for him. If he gets caught now, that might be mega creeps. Well, very patient play from Fnatic. They're ahead, but they just want to make absolutely certain that they take this game number 2. They want to be 2-0 going in to the final match. More aggressive or, you know, cocky teams, you might just see push right away. They're waiting for an opening. They're waiting for that nighttime. It will be night again. Assault Cuirass now up on the Night Stalker. This push got even easier. And now they just have so many armor items. Mechanism, Assault Cuirass. Just gives you so much physical resistance to that Luna's auto attacks, who again has not progressed at all with their items. It's just constantly being forced to save for buyback, which made sense at every point that she's done it. It's not the wrong play, it's just not a winning play. Neither is buying the Manta style. You're still gonna die to a black hole, to a reverse polarity. Having Manta style doesn't change that. It's not like there's a Night Stalker silence that by itself the Manta saves you from destruction. Fnatic gonna slow roll this one. They have all their big ults back up. It's time for the big fight. Blink and the Ravage and the Black Hole to turn this one around. Can it be stolen by Rubik? No, he gets caught in a matter of seconds. 5 heroes incinerated. I didn't even have time to open my mouth before that fight was over. Yikes. That's your Magnus Enigma Gyrocopter team fight. He actually never reversed polarity in that one. Didn't even get it off. Didn't matter. That one deserves a YouTube clip. I think that one actually deserves a Reddit thread because that was just the quickest annihilation of a team I've ever seen. Boy, did Fnatic pick a team fight heavy lineup. Boy, does it hurt when they get that team fight. Well, guys, good news. Good news for fans of the former heroes of New Earth Fnatic squad, now firmly established as a Dota team. They are looking pretty good. They're 2-0 and likely to be in your quarterfinals. This is an up-and-coming team, and a team that's really stuck together for a long time now. They've been around as a squad for, I want to say, 9 months, maybe close to a year. It's been a while, with only slight changes. Trixie leaving the team. Trixie now back on the squad. And they're looking good. Fnatic take this game. They're 2-0 in the group. SkyHigh, the woes continue. They're 0-2. Knocked out of contention, I believe. SkyHigh knocked out of contention. Fnatic should have secured a spot. Since Dignitas won, we have 2-0 teams. I think it's Pulse Gaming and SkyHigh who are officially eliminated from Group D. Not 100% sure, but that's the best information I have right now. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm LD. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.com/LDDota. If you enjoy my casting, be sure to follow me, support me. All the VODs will be available on my YouTube channel and here on the Twitch.tv channel as well. If you really enjoy Beyond the Summit and you guys want to go the extra mile, subscribe to the channel. It really makes a difference for us. We'd love to be able to continue to bring these games at a high level, and supporting us financially is the best way to allow us to do this as what we hope to be someday a full-time job. So thanks for tuning in, guys. One more Group D match, and then it's onwards and upwards to the quarterfinals when the real fun begins. This is your Dreamhack winner 2012. Thanks all for watching. We'll see you in a few minutes' time.